Hello, everyone. This is Leon Cruz for the Intense Apex Alpha Male podcast. Uh, in this video podcast, I would like to go over and review the latest Tony Horton Beachbody workout program, 22-minute hardcore. This is episode number 11 of our video podcast, and today's date is December the 20th, 2016. And the little noise you hear in the background are my three cockatiels that are chirping away. Sorry about that. Currently on location, giving you this video. So, to begin with, this video will piggyback on the last video that I put together, a video podcast on your New Year's fitness resolution and how to stick with a program. Now, the program that I laid out on that video was the bare bones basics. That's to keep you motivated in case you're a first time workout person getting into a fitness program, or a person that's coming back into training your body. Usually you don't want to start with something too advanced or too intense. So the program that I laid out there for you, it's a really good and doable program. And if you go to my website, or if you're watching this on YouTube and you locate the last video, I put a link to a booklet that I managed to get about 18 years ago from Muscle Media 2000 magazine, which Bill Phillips was having the body transformation contest. And one of the handouts, one of the pullouts from Muscle Media, it's called a supplemental special report. And the report basically that caught my eye was the one with Drew Avery. Drew Avery is a an out of shape guy who actually worked out but didn't know what direction to take. And basically the report lays out what I put forth in the last video. If you're interested in that particular report, go to my website, where I linked and I put up that video. Underneath it, I put the link to the page so you can download it on PDF or on WordPerfect. And it's basically the Drew Avery report. And it tells you how he lost 22 pounds and gained 10.5 pounds of muscle. And it lays out supplement, program, food, exercise, and cardio. As a matter of fact, if you're a physical culture historian, you'll find out that Beachbody basically got its motivation from Bill Phillips, Muscle Media, and the physique transformation contests. Out of that, Beachbody was formed in 1998, and as time went on, I would say, 98, 6 years later, their flagship product was created, which was P90X with its superstar trainer Tony Horton. And if you look at those infomercials, you'll see the before and after pictures, which is reminiscent of what Muscle Media 2000 was doing throughout the 90s. And it basically proves that if you follow a sound fitness, muscle building, and diet and cardio program, which is an integrated system, you will see changes in your body for the better. And as you continue on that path and add more advanced techniques, you'll hopefully achieve what you're after. Now, the thing is, you have to basically know what it is you want. In bodybuilding, if you're not using any type of enhancements like steroids or growth hormone or anything like that, I have some definite opinions on those things, and they're not the typical crap you hear on TV. But we'll get to that later. If you're not using those things, to build size and to get ripped is near impossible. you'll either get small and ripped or big in bulk, but you won't have both without some type of enhancement. Okay, so you won't, as repeated before, you won't have, you can't gain humongous size and get ripped at the same time without some type of enhancement. It's just impossible. The human body doesn't operate that way. So you'll either get small and ripped, which is streamlined, or if you're going to bulk up, big and bulk, which is a combination of muscle and fat. But to really develop the type of physique you want, enhancement has to be a protocol. But that's for another conversation. Anyway, for those who are getting into fitness or getting back in shape after a layoff, you can go to my website and download the Drew Avery Report, or I'm going to try to put it on the section where this video is going to appear on YouTube. You'll be able to do that as well. Download that. So we're going to discuss the 22-minute hardcore Tony Horton workout. Now, to begin with, I would like to touch upon the nutritional aspect of the program first, because it's a well thought out way to learn how to control your portion size and basically how to eat from all the major food groups. So one of the things they include with the program is these little containers. The person who came up with that, I don't know her first name. She has a program out. Her last name is Calabresi, and she's a fitness model who also works for Beachbody. And she did a program with Sagi Kalev, which is called Hammer and Chisel, which is also a pretty good program. And Sagi is also a star for Beachbody, who created Body Beast. Body Beast is a really, really good program, strictly for bodybuilding purposes. So I'm going to discuss that in a later video, because it's a really good program. Now, those of you who are getting back into shape and using the information that I supplied you with, let's say you would like to buy one of the Beachbody programs. Well, the 22-minute hardcore program is a very good program to start, because you want to learn a little more basically on how to eat. And forgive me for using the word basically so much. I repeat it often, so please forgive me for using that word. It becomes annoying after a while. Anyway, what I did was I took the little book that came with the program. Okay, this little booklet will teach you basically how to go on a specific diet program based on your weight. So after you read the instructions on the little booklet, it actually has the meal plans broken down. And in order to determine what plan you'll be following, they give you a little chart on how to come up with the numbers you'll need. Can't seem to find it on the booklet here right away. Anyway, when you do it, you'll be able to see the little formula that they use for you to come up with the formula for the diet. And once you come up with that formula, which I did, I played around with it, and I came up with a formula of a starting off point of 3,000 calories. Now these 3,000 calories are broken up into several colors, which they use in the containers. And what I did was I put it together with crayon colors. What you're seeing here are the servings of each color that I'm supposed to consume throughout the day. Not in one sitting, but throughout the day. So what I did was I took those 3,000 calories and divided it by 6 meals. Let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 meals. And the program has me eating, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 servings of vegetables, 6 servings of fruit, 8 servings of protein, and 8 servings of carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates. Okay, so this pattern of eating, of meal planning, has to be broken down, which is what I did over here with 6 meals. For example, the red ones are, the red container are the protein ones. So for my first meal, remember, keep in mind, I'm supposed to eat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 servings in one day of that. So I have to break it down to 6 meals. So, for example, what I did was the vegetables that the program has me eating, and the fruit is 2 containers of the vegetables, 2 servings, 2 servings of the fruit. So what I would do is make a juice drink out of that. They also supply you with, in the program, with a shaker bottle for your protein drinks, and I'm deciding to juice my vegetables and fruits because consuming a lot of that food, I'm not a big eater of food. So I do get in my meals in, but to consume the amount of food you have to have the program successful, I have to cut some corners. So one of the things I do is juice the portions that they recommend. In this case, like for example, my first meal, which is breakfast, I have 6 eggs. That takes care of the 2 red containers, which are the protein, my 2 servings. 2 servings of fruits and vegetables blend into 1 juice drink. And then the oatmeal is 1 yellow, which is 1 serving of carbohydrates. So that takes care of meal number 1. So as I go down the line, I do the best I can to try to put it all together. As you can see, 6 meals, okay? All of this into 6 meals. Now the nice thing about this is if you know absolutely nothing about diet and nutrition, one of the first things they do is they break it all down for you. Complex carbohydrates, fruits and vegetables, proteins, okay? And even some fats, some healthy fats. So they break that down for you. They give you the portion control containers. Like for example, on this one here, as I try to open it, okay, here we have the protein container. So I have 2 of these, which about 3 hard-boiled eggs can fit into. So if there's 2, that's 3 and 3 is 6. That's 6 eggs, 6 whole eggs for 2 of these. So that takes care of my protein for that 1 meal. Then what I do is I use the green container and the purple container. See, these 2 containers, this is for the fruits and vegetables, which is 2 servings. It helps me measure it. And the same thing with the green one, with the vegetable portion. Then I put them together on my bullet blender, shake it up, put it in my shaker bottle. So I have that with the eggs. And then a little packet of oatmeal, which constitutes the yellow container, which allows me the 1 serving for that particular meal. Now, each meal here, since it's 3,000 calories, right? 3,000 calories. What I do there is try to divide the 3,000 by 6. And 3,000 by 6 will give you, let's see, I want to be accurate over here. I don't want to give you the wrong number. Let's see. 3,000 divided by 6 equals, let's see, 3,000, 1, 2, 3, divided by 6. That comes out to about 500 calories a meal. Okay? So that means the 6 eggs, the juice drink, and the oatmeal should be somewhere around the ballpark of 500 calories. So by following this, you're introducing your body into a consistent form of fuel. Fuel will in turn help the body build muscle and also burn fuel. Now, if you're a person like me, I actually weigh 250 pounds with a 10% body fat, which is pretty lean for a large person. I would follow this diet to start with, and every 2 weeks I would chop down the caloric intake by 200 calories. If you're looking to lose fat, mostly in my case would be body fat. My goal is not to get smaller, but leaner. Obviously, you will get lighter as well, but always keep in mind that not ideally, you're not going to lose weight like a typical person would who's getting rid of fat and water, because muscle is heavier than fat and water. So the scale will deceive you a little bit. That's where the skin caliper measurements come in, because you actually begin to see your body weight will basically stay somewhat the same because you're holding on to muscle size. So you're not going to lose a lot of weight per se. Muscle is a lot heavier than water and fat. But in order to determine that you're losing water and fat, you would use the skin caliper and the tape measure to see where you're losing all the inches at, and combine that with scale weight just to see. And also the mirror will tell you as well. So you would follow that. You'll follow a diet like this for 2 weeks, chop down 200 calories, and continue doing that. And in order to do that, you have to reapply the mathematical formula the little book gives you, in terms of the little booklet that comes with the Horton 22 Hardcore program. The instructions are in here. It's a very good, well planned out program. Okay, so like for example, on page 2 of your booklet, they ask you what's your gender. So in this case, they give you, if it's a female, a woman, it's 0, and if it's a guy, it's a +1. And what's your weight? So they give you some weights, more or less, between 201, 220, 221 pounds and up. They give you a numeric system to follow. In my case, I'm a +5. So far, I'm a male. That gives me a +1. And I'm over 221 pounds, so that's a +5. So automatically, that's giving me a 6 already. Okay? A 6. All right. So the next series of questions they ask you is, are you an active? That's usually a desk job. Moderate, meaning a server in a restaurant, you're on your feet. Or very active, which is basically a person who works construction or has a high labor job. So I put desk job because that's basically what I do. I work in the education system, so I'm basically inactive. So that's a -1. All right, so from 6, I go back, they chop me down back to 5. So the next thing I do, on the next page, I look at what my score is, and I go right to number 5, which has me at, in this particular booklet, not the Hammer and Chisel. Hammer and Chisel is different, which is where I based my program at. This one has it at 2,600 or 2,700 calories for that plan. So then you go to the next page, which is page number 5, and they tell you, or they show you exactly what it constitutes by showing you the color sequences over here. Okay? Color sequences over here. Right here. Okay? You see? So this is very helpful in learning how to use portion control and how to eat. They also try to sell you on their Shakeology protein powder. The product, I have to say, is a very, very good product. The only problem with it is the price. It's pretty pricey. But if that's no problem for you, then have at it. They actually give you recipes on what to do in terms of putting all of your color-coded macronutrients into that number one drink as one of your meals, which is a good idea. If you cannot afford that or do not wish to buy the Shakeology protein formula, you can go on the plethora of nutrition websites that are on the internet. One of my favorites is DPS Nutrition or nettrition.com, and also prosource.com. And you can get a classic meal replacement product called Metrex. Metrex has been around since 1992. It has the staying power for over 24 years. And that was about the same time a lot of innovations in working out and weight training came out. And again, I learned about all of this first from Muscle Media 2000. And they're the ones who pushed through Metrex. Then they veered away and started with EAS, Experimental and Applied Sciences, which is an acronym that's different now because Bill Phillips sold the company. But at that time, he was selling Myoplex, which is still around. You have Myoplex and you have Metrex. Metrex is one of my favorites. One, because it's affordable. And number two, it's a protein-based supplement. More like a meal replacement. You could add protein to, which will also help you follow the program that's outlined in the 22-minute hardcore Tony Horton program. They also introduced at that time, back in '93, the Power Block dumbbell selectorized weight system, which is an excellent piece of equipment if you wish to buy that. It's not necessary, but you could buy that. And I also plan to do a video which is a walkthrough on some basic pieces of equipment you should have. Now keep in mind that your training endeavors and your physical fitness endeavors is a lifestyle. It's not something you're going to do now and then forget about. Once you start, it's an investment on you. So every person who's serious about getting in shape, yes, you can go to a gym, absolutely, but you should always, every person who works out should have some basic tools at home as well. Because there's going to be days you cannot make it to the gym for whatever reason. And some gyms, especially out here in New York City, are not open 24 hours. So let's say you have to put in a workout at 2 or 3 in the morning. Where are you going to go? So it's important that you have the bare bones basics. So I'm going to go over that with you in a separate video. And if you want to invest in the power blocks, fantastic. You can visit my website. And at no extra cost to you, you can order it through my website, where I get a small commission, which actually helps me produce videos like this and give out a lot of the information that I have for free, like the Drew Avery report and other things like that, which I'll be supplying you with. Yeah, so that's the nutrition portion of the 22 Hardcore program. Now, I do not work for Beachbody, and I'm not one of their coaches, although I do respect many of them because many of them want to share their experiences with their working out and their training and believe in the products that they're using to help themselves get in shape. I'm a fan of Beachbody and I like what they're doing, so I have no problem talking about their products as a consumer, not necessarily a coach. And in the future, in a future video, I plan to interview Mike Nowak. Mike Nowak is he has this website, howdoigetripped.com, and he's one of the Beachbody coaches. He has a really nice website. If you get a chance, check him out. And he also talks about outfitting a room or portion of his home for his workout purposes, which is fantastic and quite motivating. So I hope to interview him and bring that to you. So getting back to the Tony Horton program, here Tony Horton, as the expert that he is, manages to break the whole entire program into the 4 levels of fitness we spoke about in our first video. Our first video talked about the 4 levels of fitness, which is strength, conditioning, body composition, and flexibility. Strength, we all know, you go to the gym and lift weights for that. Conditioning is cardio. Body composition is altered based on the first two components of your training, which is strength and cardio, along with diet. Okay, that's going to affect your body composition. If you're getting leaner, you're going to see that. If you're getting fatter, so forth. And flexibility, which is where yoga or a form of yoga comes in. So these are the four components, and these are four components that many of the institutions that award students who study for their personal training certification focus on a lot, because that contributes to a whole cohesive unit of the physical body on how to get it functioning, moving as a machine, because the human body is a machine. As we get older, certain aspects of that machine begin to tighten and rust, per se. The rust part means you can't touch your toes anymore or stretch. So that component has to be adhered to in a physical fitness program. Also, your body's metabolism slows down if you're inactive. That's where the cardio and weight training component come in, because it's work. So you're kicking into gear a lot of mechanisms to help the body burn fat and get in shape. So Tony Horton does a great job on that. He has 3 cardio programs. He has 2 core programs, which the core consists of the abdominals, upper and lower, the obliques, and the lower back. That's your core. So he has 2 programs on that, and he has 3 resistance programs as well, which consist of weight-bearing exercises. Along with that, he tosses in another program called Special Ops, which is another nice program to follow. Now, my specialty is bodybuilding. That's what I do. That's what I am. I'm a bodybuilder and a powerlifter. So how do I incorporate these programs into my training? Because you can do that. You can incorporate these programs. So as stated in the last video, the best way to incorporate your cardio into your program is to do it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. Now, popping in the cardio video, which is this right here, in the morning for 22 minutes is actually a very doable thing you can do. Now, if you're training and you're combining your cardio together, you do your weight-bearing exercises first and then your cardio. Obviously, if you're doing it at a gym, you can't follow through with that at a gym because they don't have VCRs. At least I don't know. You can pop them in and follow the workout. So this would be mostly for home gym training. For example, if you have equipment at home and you're doing your weight-bearing exercises, when you're done, you could pop in one of the DVDs and follow through for 22 minutes, the cardio program. Or, if you can get up earlier in the morning and do it 3 times a week, that would be fantastic. And then you saved your weight training bearing exercises for the evening, afternoon or evening. And that's very functional if you do that. While you're doing that, you'll toss in on alternate days your yoga or flexibility routines. And again, if you can get a lot of those on YouTube. For example, you have Joe DeFranco. He has the Limber 11. So make sure to look that up. Joe DeFranco, Limber 11. And that, he teaches you also how to stretch all the various muscle groups and in a nice routine, and you could follow that in terms of rounds. After you do the first round, you can continue to do another one, and that'll take you about 20 to 30 minutes to complete, which is very important, especially as you get older. Weight training has a habit or a way of stiffening the body, so you have to find ways to stretch it out. One of the things I incorporate into my training is martial arts, Wing Chun training. Also, why Wing Chun? First of all, why Wing Chun? Because that was Bruce Lee's first form of martial arts. And Wing Chun is truly a beautiful form of fighting. Not that you're going to want to use it to hurt anybody. It's a great form of exercise. Anyway, you can do that, or MMA style training, which is fantastic as well. From time to time, you could use cardio machines. The best one that I find is next to stationary cycling, of course, is the Stairmaster. If you don't have one of those and you have a Gauntlet, which is a one of those exercise bikes that has you standing, going like this, that's okay, but I prefer something that's going to give you more resistance. So stair climbing, or a spinning class as well, using the bicycle in intervals. And there are videos on YouTube, once again, that you can look for that can help you do that in terms of your cardio work. When the weather gets nicer, you can go out to the park and do intervals as well. There's nothing more wonderful than going out, getting fresh air, and exercising when the weather when the weather allows you to do that. So getting back to the 22 Hardcore Tony Horton program, which is the new program he has out from Beachbody, I give this a 5-star if it's something you want to incorporate into your training. Now, my advice is, again, you have to determine what it is you want to accomplish. Some people just do this and that's it. For example, they would combine his recommendations for cardio and his recommendations for resistance, which is fantastic, is good. If you want to look like Tony Horton in terms of being streamlined, lean, and ripped, which is a wonderful goal to set for. I, on the other hand, and many guys watching this video like me, like to build size, muscle size. Basically, that's why we get into the sport to begin with, is to build size. So I would incorporate Tony Horton's program into my program, but I would not use his program exclusively, only because, or even P90X for that matter, only because these are fitness sports programs. Fitness sports programs are designed for you to build an athletic, functional body for your sport. Bodybuilding and powerlifting are not geared towards that. Bodybuilding, for the most part, is a superficial sport. The goal is to show your development, and the training that you do is a combination of compound and isolation exercises for muscle hypertrophy training. That type of training, if you try to take it out into the football field, with some very slight exceptions, you won't function that well unless you do incorporate that with the football style of training. Same thing with martial arts. If you're an MMA fighter or you're a martial artist, if you try to exclusively train your body, bodybuilding wise, it's not going to transform well over onto the mat, the judo mat or the wrestling mat. So a program like P90X, or a program like what Jeff Cavalieri is selling on his website, will be more conducive for athletes in specific sports. But for athletes who are involved in bodybuilding and powerlifting, that's sport-specific training, which will you have to train, like if you want to be a bodybuilder, you have to train bodybuilding, or if you want to be a powerlifter, you have to train powerlifting. And to keep your overall fitness level going, incorporating these programs is a great idea. But to use them exclusively, they're not, because technically the Tony Horton 22-minute hardcore program will get you in shape, but it will weaken you. If you have like a 2 or 3 or 400 pound bench press and you strictly use his program, when you go back, you're going to lose all that strength. So the goal is to determine what it is you want. Now, I've been studying a lot of these Beachbody programs, and I stated before, I'm a big fan of them. I find them great ways to learn and to teach others on how to get in shape and train. And I've used some of these programs, again, incorporated to my program, and I've helped others use them exclusively because their goal was to become streamlined and slim, which is a noble goal as well. So you just have to determine what it is you want to accomplish. Now, this program, I recommend it. I'm going to use it in conjunction to my training. I'm going to put up a video, and I'm going to also do videos like a day in a life type of thing, so you can see exactly what I'm doing and how I incorporate certain things. So I hope this video and podcast was useful to you. The goal is to help you as a consumer like me. I want to give you my recommendation. Just let me know what you think. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and feel free to subscribe. I have much more stuff coming your way. And as stated before, hopefully I'll be interviewing Michael Herr this Sunday on Christmas Day. And we're going to be discussing the three types of religions. So I want you to stay tuned for that. So my videos, if you notice, they're a plethora of different things that I discuss. For this one, it's physical culture, fitness, bodybuilding, and all that. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and God bless you all. And thank you for listening, my friends.